We will start this network call with some celebration of what have been done in Genoa in the last year. Very, very quick highlights. And then we'll move on to sharing with you what we have harvested from the whole network in the Metamorph project, who actually a lot of you have joined us either in filling in the form or having in-person interviews with us during the Metamorph project. It was a few months ago, and we take our time to really digest the information that we have gathered and sharing with you the next steps. For the first one, celebrating the projects, the work that we did in the year of 2022. I think Luvian, you take this part, yeah?
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, so taking a look back into 2022, we have done quite some activities, both online and offline. One is the regenerations course that happened. It's a learning journey that happened over 6 months, and for that course we had 11 members and 4 projects. It was an incubator course that it's based on the EDE syllabus that is developed by Gaia Education, but we are localizing it and trying to fit it to our region. This is the second year that the regenerations. This is the second cycle of regenerations. So yeah, that project ended with four projects, and we also have given one of the projects a seed funding to kickstart their project. The next is GENOA Metamorph, which is the result we will be sharing with you all today. It's an internal process where we go into, we try to stop and learn about the terrain in which we are operating in as a movement of as an eco-village movement here in Asia and Oceania. So we talk to different stakeholders of the network and trying to gain insight of what are the needs and the current needs of eco-villages, and also individuals who are interested in eco-villages. And we try to analyze how we can best support this community of people. So next is general community calls. So it's an online space where we as the community can come together online to connect with each other and learn about different things. So in this 4 community calls that we did in 2022, we had different eco-villages, representatives of eco-villages come to share about their eco-village initiatives. We had S1 from Japan sharing about their activities. We had like Oro representative from TI Eco-Village and yeah, so some other eco-village too. So the next part is healing circles. So this is an initiative that was started by Amina. It's a space for us to also come and together online, mostly for people who are doing regenerative work, because sometimes it takes us to energize ourselves and gain support from each other. So this is a space where Amina and a lot of other facilitators have contributed to. They hold space one session where people can just come in, do some meditation, check in with each other, share stories about about daily life and regenerative work too. So the circles happen usually during full moons, and we had 10 healing circles throughout 2022. Lastly, we also have this project, which is in collaboration with the Beyond initiatives from the Dance of Universal Peace International, where this Dances of Universal Peace is a practice. It's kind of like a moving meditation. So we sing and dance together and chant, and it's a collective practice. So Arjun from Casa Latina, he's been holding it is one of the practices that is dear to the Casa Latina network and kind of like glue together all of the different eco-villages together. And Arjun is one of the elders there. He came to Asia to share this tool to Asia, to introduce it to Asia for the first time. So we collaborated with him to share this tool to 5 countries, namely in Asia, in India, in Maldives, Indonesia, Vietnam, and Thailand. So over the course of that tour, we had like more than 100 participants from different countries. And lastly, we gathered in Thailand to have the regional camp. And a lot of the people here in this call also came to that camp. Yeah, we had a quite vibrant activity in 2022. So now over to you, Ken, for the Metamorph project.
Yeah, thanks, Luvian. So that was a very quick highlight of 2022 in Genoa. I think we probably also misses something. So if you find something missing, feel free to add by just putting it in the chat. And since we gathering together, we just want to take this time to really celebrate and send also a lot of appreciation to you all, because you all have been part of one or two or all of the activities that Genoa have been doing. And also some of you are very active in the national network of Genoa as well. So we're really grateful for that. And I'm gonna move on to sharing with you some of the highlights that we have collected through our GENOA Metamorph project. We have a full report of 40 something pages that we can send you if you want to dive deeper, but just for the sake of this presentation, we just want to share the highlights and mainly want to take you to where we're gonna go ahead together, which is the later part after this. So GENOA Metamorph, what we did during this project was we conducted interviews, surveys, we connect with members of eco-villages, but also people who have been active in Genoa, not necessarily being a part of the communities yet. We also connect to the bigger GEN region, GEN International, and the partners, key partners of Genoa, to engage them in conversation, asking about the offers, the needs, what they're looking for in a network, a regional network like Genoa, how the activities of Genoa has been for them and what could be better, how we can co-create a better regenerative network in the region. So this table show you the highlights of the needs from the network. I'm just gonna use annotation so you can see it better. Spotlight. Okay, here. So here you can see on the first column, the needs fall into 5 main categories. So the needs from the network, including both eco-villages and individuals, communities and individuals. The strongest needs that comes up is the needs for connection and exchange. And for this, people really want to have opportunities and platform to network, to connect with each other. And what we can do better in Genoa is to have clearer strategy structure and membership system, so people can also feel more belonged and know how to engage, how to play a role in the network. So for this, we'll also take into account into our plan going ahead. And then the second needs from communities that really stand out is to have human resources, to have volunteers, to have new members. And for this, we are also looking into how Genoa can actually contribute in supporting eco-villages to attract more, maybe more visitors, more volunteers, and more new members. Next is the need for visibility, to showcase the work that communities are doing, to showcase the mission that we're doing to regenerate the earth and all of her beings. And we also have been hearing that Genoa has been doing quite well in terms of sharing the stories of what have been happening in the region. We do that through social media and newsletter, but also through events. However, our pool of audience are still quite small as Genoa. So even though we've been doing a lot of activities, the reach of our stories are not as high as we and also the network expected. So we need to really do better in doing promotion. And also a lot of people are interested in doing advocacy. So how our work can be taken to notice by not only the people, but also maybe organization and government. The fourth needs is around funding. So GEN, as the international network, as well as GENOA and a lot of our communities, having this common challenge around financial sustainability. And this is actually the core theme for not only GENOA, but also the GEN international network as a whole, like how to strengthen our financial sustainability and be more resilient in the economic dimension. And for us, GENOA, the finance and admins is actually one of our pet peeves that we're trying to also learn and do better this year. And the fifth trend of the needs from the network is the learning and capacity building. For this, GENOA has been focused on quite heavily in the past with a lot of activities and learning programs. So it comes up as one of our strengths. But at the same time, all of our activities with very rich and diverse contents haven't been able to reach a lot of people also because we need to do a lot better at promotion. So this is a quick sum up of what are the needs in the network. And in the next slide, I show you, this slide looks a little bit complicated, but I walk you through it. So this show the way forward from the network, like what our participants of the project have suggested. And this is the trend that go all together after we analyze every inputs from everyone. So the way forward for the network, the core is communities development, Ecovillage development. So GENOA, how we can, as the regional network, to support catalyzing the birth and also the maintenance continuation of more and more regenerative communities. And in order to do that, we separate into two main purposes. The first one is to network to connect regenerative communities and practitioners together. So there are a lot of people who are doing great work in our region, in different countries and different communities, and how we can play a role of a bridge connecting people together, especially in GENOA, in Asia and Oceania, as a super diverse region, not only in terms of geographically, but also in terms of language and culture as well. So this would be one of our main purpose. And the second main purpose is to build capacity and inspire for transformation. So this would be a bridging of not just working with communities, but also with working with people who are not yet in this sphere of regenerative movement, with individuals, with organizations and projects, and bring them on board with us. And in order to fulfill this core function that you can see in the green circle here, we identify 6 key functions for us. The one that get mentioned the most during our work in Metamorph is certainly networking, and that's quite obvious because our name also indicate that we are a network, so connecting, bridging. And second is promotion, promoting the stories, raising awareness of the needs of having more regenerative communities, and broadcasting, advocating for the impact of communities for what we're doing is a part of the promotion. And next is education. So for education, it's about educating for the ways, the concrete ways of heading towards making a better, more regenerative world. And for this, we will continue to, based on the maps of regeneration from GEN, the 5-dimension social, ecological, cultural, worldview, economic, and whole system design. At the same time, we want to work with we need to work with educators in the network to bring more diverse and down-to-earth and practical content as well. So this is also mentioned during all of our conversation with the network. And stand at the 4th and 5th position, it's the need for the way ahead for doing more advocacy work and fundraising. And last one is network governance. And network governance actually kind of an overarching, it relates to a lot of the other functions, because how we're going to work together in the network is very important. These come up less than the 3 on top here, but also have been identified by our team to be really important functions of GENOA. This is going to be my last slide. So just bear with me for one more minute. So this slide show what people are of the network are expecting from the operational team. So just before going on to this, I would just love to share with you that we have a small team working to support the maintenance and carrying out activities of the network. And we call it, well, we used to call it the Genoa office team, but we're now gonna move back to call it Genoa operational team, because really our function is just to support operation tasks and functions to make things happen, to collaborate with the network. And during the Metamorph project, we also ask everyone, what do you expect? What do you think would be the key functions of this team, this small team, in order to achieve the vision and mission and functions of Genoa. So these 5 points come as highlight, and it correspond very well with what you've seen in the last 2 slides. First is to network, connect people. Second is to communicate and build content to promote what Genoa and the networks communities are doing. Third is to carry out the network engagement and team building activities for not only Genoa team, but also for the bigger network. And fourth is to do administrative task of the network. So like anything that related to IT, admin, events, legality, things like that. And the fifth is to support fundraising. I put a star here because it actually didn't come up very strongly in the Metamorph project, but for us as the team, fundraising and economic resilience is actually a very key key focus, especially in this year. So that was the very quick snapshot of what we have gathered from our conversations with the network in terms of what we have been doing, what was done well, what could be better. And we also, during the call with the network, we talk about visioning into the future, how you want to co-create Genoa, how you see Genoa grow and evolve. So that would be the next part.
There are like some, as Kim mentioned, there are some changes that we already adapted, drawing on from the learnings that we gathered during the network engagement phase of the Metamorph project. So there are about 6 of them. So it's like the vision mission. We also introduced a new theory of change and impact pathways and also network structure and governance have some changes, proposed directions for Genoa. We are proposing some directions for Genoa about the network, how we would like to both develop the network and also like some practical directions and the roadmap and and then also some changes in the Genoa operations team structure and also about some financial sustainability strategies. So next. So with the Genoa vision and mission, we make a little change with some changes to a one-liner vision and mission, where before it was quite long and descriptive. We tried to create a vision and mission that's simple and easy for people to understand. So our new vision and mission statement is: we envision a thriving regional community of eco-villages, eco-communities, and individuals actively exploring and practicing and sharing regenerative ways of living. So our mission would be to catalyze regenerative communities to thrive and empower people to live resilient and regenerative lives. So yeah, I hope this vision and mission is very clear and concrete for people to understand about what we are doing in Genoa. Next, Kim. And this is our theory of change and impact pathways. We draw upon we kind of like learn about like how eco-villages operates the movement. We see the spirit behind the movement, and we see like, oh, actually like eco-villages are trying to model change and demonstrate what regenerative life looks like in their own life, and then try to inspire more people to do the same. So we adopt this as our theory of change of how we can create a more regenerative society by creating models and inspiring other people to do the same. And here in And here in our graph picture, we have like the one primary pathway in the middle, which is the grounding pathway, which is like about, we will talk about it a little bit about it later. It's basically primary pathway is about the eco-villages, like being rooted in eco-villages, connecting to eco-villages on the ground, building relationship with them for us as an organization, so we can become more rooted to the real needs of eco-villages on the ground. Then there's the synergistic pathway, which have the idea is like to link these eco-villages and also individuals who are interested to cross-pollinate with each other. And then there's the educational pathway, is growing, but we call it also growing. So it's basically about capacity building, increasing our capacity for our skills and knowledge about living regenerative lives. So it includes courses and experience programs and so forth. And then there's the promotional pathway, which we also call the flowering pathway. It means for us to be a flower and bloom and show everyone that the regenerative practices that we are doing. It's about showcasing, sharing stories, and inspiring more people to do the same. So next slide, please, Kim. And this is our updated network structure. We kind of try to use the analogy of a tree, where the eco-villages are the roots of the network. And this is where we draw like nutrients and wisdom and understanding skills and practices of how to live regenerative lives. And then there's also the lateral roots of the eco-villages, which are the national networks. And then the tree trunk would be the regional office, which is GENOA. So yeah, this is like, and then the tree crown would be like in advocacy activities, promotion, and engagement, showing the outcomes of the movement to more people. That is what is visible from out from in the broader society later. And within the GENOA office itself, GENOA for the regional office, the GENOA regional movement, we are we also have this kind of like an analogy of the we use the trunk as an analogy for the regional office, right? So we kind of like make a cross section of that trunk, and we can see like how it's like a circle, and it have those, like for example, the trunk would have a bark outside, and then the xylem layer, phloem, and then like all of those structures in place. So this is how we envision, how we see it. So the partners are kind of like outside the eco-village communities. And here the eco-village and communities doesn't really mean the eco-village and communities. It means like the representatives of the eco-village and communities, which are closely engaged with us. Usually in an eco-village, there will be like one or two people who maintain contact with the regional network. So these are those people. And then moving closer inside, there are like the GENOs, the national networks, the wisdom keepers. We have like a group of people that we call wisdom keepers that are like long-time practitioners of regenerative living in the region, which we go to them and ask for advice and wisdom to them. And then there's the ambassadors, the volunteers, then the next GENOA friends, the next GENOA group. And then even closer to the circle, we have the more active group of people that runs GENOA in a closer to daily basis. So these are the GENOA project teams. So for example, we have the regeneration team that's working on the ground daily to within a project period to actually deliver the program. And then we have the GENOA council, which are a group of people who holds the decision-making power in GENOA. It consists of people who are long-time active member members of the regional office. And then the general ops team are the team that runs the daily functioning of the network, including maintaining the network database, connecting to eco-villages, running communications, efforts, and all of those kind of things. So these are the team that the inner circle, the innermost core circle of Genoa regional team. So we have the council, Talia from New Zealand, Amina from India, Karen from China, and Benjamin here from the Philippines. And the office teams is Ken and me. Ken from Vietnam, and I'm from Indonesia. And next is this is how the operation team function. So with like over these years, we have this head, heart, hands function in the office team. We have the three key circles, which is the communication circle, networking circle, and the admin and finance circle. So we find these three circles are functioning like quite well, and we'd like to maintain this structure. And one note is like this year, the operation teams will be running fully voluntarily for this year until we secure further funding. And the priorities of this year would be to rebuild the team, try to find more people to join on board, to fill in some functions that because currently it's only me and Ken, so we'd like to find people who would like to volunteer their time and effort for the office team too. Like for example, for finance role, admin, and communications. And then we also will downsize our tasks and functions from last year, so we will keep like certain very core functions for the running of the network, so we can put some more energy to put efforts in fundraising. And so yeah, that's the third point, to support fundraising campaign. So that's the changes that we have in terms of Genoa operations at the moment in the general team. And now like we will move on towards like how we from the office and council see the direction of Genoa moving forward. So now that we have the four pathways that we mentioned earlier, but the grounding pathway, flowering, pollinating, and growing. So we're using that as a framework in which we operate. So in the grounding pathway, we would like to moving forward, we would like to continue to map eco-villages in Asia and also like help assist them in the EIA, which is the Eco-Village Impact Assessment. And then we would like also to continue mapping the regenerative lifestyle and practices. Like in the Gen website, there's like the regenerative solutions. So that is what we also would like to collect from the eco villages. In the promotional pathway, we'd like to have more outreach, promotion, and especially also advocacy. And we would like to have more network communication. The synergistic pathway, we are thinking of having like an online platform for people, for our members to be able to connect with each other. And we are also like trying to see like how it can happen in a Gen international level for this online platform. And then we also have this thing that we would like to develop, which is the membership program, then the volunteer, and also like the gatherings, the in-person gatherings. And then the educational pathway, we would like to continue with our education programs and creating like COPs, and which is community of practices on specific topics in eco-village living. And then a lot of more introduction to eco-village courses within this year in different regions, in different countries. And with regards to financial sustainability, we estimated the minimum annual budget of 50,000 GBP for us to run, like functionally. So it's a good number. It's nice to have a number to put out there for us as a benchmark, and to
Yeah,
reach
right.
that, our strategies will be to allocate the majority of the remaining budget to fund fundraising activities to generate even more funds for us to play with, and we can campaign for the flagship project, which will be selected by us in the network. This is like what Jason is mentioning about like finding a project that suits that can help us work together, collaborate, and then we would like to downsize the operational work to a minimum for now, the daily operational team, and have this team to function as in a voluntary basis, so we don't burn more research for the moment. And then we would like to allocate a small portion of the budget to be secured for some fixed operational costs like admin and some IT costs. So next slide, please, Ken. And yeah, Ken will share about some more practical directions in the near future, something more, a little bit more grounded.
So yeah, just to follow up on what Luvian just said, we want to optimize our operational function, which also equals to less online working time and more efficiency. And this actually built up on what our previous predecessors in Genoa, Trudy, DJ, and Chris were doing long before us, how to see which part we can automate, which part can be minimized, and where are the key functions that we need to focus on. And we want to also build income generating projects focusing on the strengths of the network. And this also echoing what Mati and Jason said just now. We are identifying three main potential directions, that one of them can be our flagship project of the year 2023. The first one is to scale up the regeneration program, which is our online EDE, Ecovillage Design Education, and bring it into different countries and make it into hybrid model, not only online anymore, but both in person and online. And the second is to have a program around Ecovillage experience and travel. This would meet the need of Ecovillage to help more visitors, volunteers, and people who know about them, and also meets the need of people to explore, to learn why traveling. And I think learning and traveling to Ecovillages are a lot more rich and abundant experience compared to just normal
Yeah.
mass tourism. And the third one is we want to look into possibilities of maybe potential regional exchange project, because we also identify that the active communities in Genoa, they are looking into opportunities to exchange out of the boundaries of their country. And for this year, we already have one seed of doing the next phase of Dances of Universal Peace series of workshops in Asia. We are discussing with DUP International to have a series of about 10 to 11 workshops in different countries and end with international camps. Potentially will be in Vietnam, and this is also where we can invite communities, members of Genoa to join and come together. So this is for a project, and at the moment we are discussing with the council, and we would love to receive your comments on the choosing one flagship project, and this will be the project to be used for our fundraising campaign. We actually have the content of these three projects fleshed out on a document, which we can send to you after. We will not go deep into it now because it won't take a lot of time. And lastly, for fundraising, in addition to what Luvian just said now, we also want to solidify our financial strategies. We are looking into setting up a Patreon page and hiring a fundraising coordinator to go forward with fundraising effort. And this is also a very key topic of discussion in GEN through different circles as well. And this is just I'm not going to go into details of this roadmap, but basically we created a vision of how this next few years is going to go for us. So slowly so consolidating our plan, building strong foundations, and then build up our structure better. And this structure would include also our membership system and our network governance, and build really impactful but also effective income generating projects. And we're foreseeing that we can go slowly in about 3 to 4 years in order to really build a solid foundation to GENOA. And one thing is also, you might see that we are not doing a lot per year anymore. We try to keep things at a nice pace for people to be able to join. Like if we do too many activities, it's also very difficult for our members in different countries to join everything from GENOA. And at the same time, it gives space for the core members of projects, core members of the council and of the operational team to have breathing room, to also have more slow but steady and impactful decisions and steps. So this is our foresee roadmap, and this is more concrete. I don't know if you can see. I hope that there's no bar on the screen, but this is just for this year of 2023, the different step that we're gonna do. I'm gonna annotate because this is a lot to look at. So now we are at the phase of consolidating our strategy planning, and this is also why we have this call with everyone to really receive your ideas, receive your comments, and we'll take that into account into the planning of this year and the years to come. And we're going to have a phase of rebuilding, adding new members into the team of both the council and the ops. And we're going to conduct an annual general meeting of GENOA in early March 2023. And this is where we're going to give a full report of our activities and finance as well. And this call is open to the network to join as an observer more. It will be less participatory. And we're gonna next choose a project, like I said before, choose a flagship project, and then build a fundraising plan for it, run the project, have an intermittent celebration at the end of the year and continue. And also want to add that we have all year activity going on. As you can see at the beginning that we have community goals, healing circles. This year we'll keep them, but in a different form. So for community goals, I'm going to go to the next slide so you can see more. For communities call, we're going to have, we're thinking of having call every quarter, so 4 calls in total in the year, and some of them are catering for individuals who are in transition to join communities, and some cater for communities, like addressing what communities needs or the challenges that communities have in common. And the first one that we are thinking of doing this year, it's around financial literacy for communities. So we'll invite a financial expert to come and to talk with communities about how to handle and optimize financial management and processes. And next is we're going to have a series of fire chat with people in the network, and this address the need of understanding communities and individuals in the network better, because we know that there are a lot of communities in GENOA registered on the database, but a lot of them are not active. Not active meaning not actively engaging with our activities, and we would love to understand why. We also would love to talk more with communities that are active to see what are their needs, what are their status, how we can collaborate better, and at the same time talking more with individuals who are in transition to see, being in a network like GENOA, what would be the benefits they can get, what can we support each other. So that's the fireside chat. And lastly, the healing circle is now transitioned into inner transition circle, still led by Amina, and it will be, instead of every month, it's going to be every 2 months. So we're pacing things out a little bit for us, also for everyone else to have breathing room and not having to go to online course so much. We also have some suggestions, invitation of getting involved in GENOA, and it's cover a lot of what you just said. So if you can support us in spreading the words, looking for people to join GENOA team, keep sharing the stories of what's happening in your area, your country, your communities, and also connect us to relevant organizations and people. And we also want to have more participation in building the regional projects, which later on I'll pass to Benjamin to share some news. And work with us on regional exchange activities. And this is amazing that already happening with the Dancers of Universal Peace, that we are connecting and working together and together with Duke International to make it happen this year. And fundraising is going to be a key piece for us. And we probably won't do another call, a different platform to talk more about it, because this is a big topic, a very important focus for us now to talk about it in just a few minutes. So this is in short what can happen, what you can get involved with. But after the call, we also will be follow up and sensing with you more on what are the possibilities, how you want to be involved, and how we can continue this conversation and work together.